says you need a vacation for a view like this? Or, I wish there was a place to get in shape. Try getting on the beaten path. Discover an ever-expanding network of trails and greenways. Some quintessential southern beauty. Or romp through the woods in a magical land between the rivers. There's more to explore than you ever imagined. Beyond the swing sets. Breck, we are more than a playground.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hello and welcome to week 4. Can you believe it? Week 4 already of the Roger Cador Show. I guess that proves the merit to the old saying, time flies when you're having fun.
It proves it, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
This thing has really come and gone, and I mean, it's really moving quite well.
Yeah, and I guess with this COVID environment that we live in and all that we've been through as of late, time just seems to, you wonder where it went.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and we find a way to try and bring joy to people.
Amen.
We really do, and that's the key. Because it's been difficult last year and a half with people not being able to get out the way they want and enjoy family life.
And before we get into the meat of the matter for today's show, I think there's more truth to that than we will ever be able to quantify. But I firmly believe a lot of the things that we are seeing in behavior of people, a lot of that is due to the stress and strain that so many people have been under with lockdowns and COVID and everything else.
Confinement really does something to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You and I do quite well with understanding that this is going on and that we just have to make the adjust. It's called adjust.
Yeah.
But a lot of people aren't quite able to do the correct adjusting.
Yeah, and you add to that this situation could well simply be adding on to, piling on to, exasperating some underlying mental health issues that have never been addressed accordingly.
Yeah, we have a lot of that, so let's hope we can do a better job and some of this money can open up some facilities that will close, give these people some help.
Speaking of doing a better job, let's jump into some. You like that one?
Yes, I love it.
That was just for you. Let's talk a little LSU football. Tigers started strong against Mississippi State, but like just about every other SEC game you ever watched, one team starts out strong, jumps out, just wait, the other team's coming. And sure enough, State didn't disappoint.
Well, I tell you, that's part of the SEC. Mm-hmm. They're so well balanced in terms of the amount of talent on each team. So you could always look for a run from somebody, just don't know where and when.
first road win of the season, and it had to feel pretty good for Coach O and the team, because say what you will about Mississippi State, Starkville can be a tough place to play, Coach.
Anywhere in the SEC is tough to play. Certainly small town like Starkville, where people take their school serious.
Oh, yeah.
And they support them, and they do cowbell, and they do whatever to try and get them excited. So, yeah, it was a big win for Coach O and the Tigers. Now they've got a plane for Auburn, who hadn't won since '99 in Baton Rouge. That's a long time. But Auburn can be beaten.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Ask Georgia State. Georgia State had them on the ropes, and according to Georgia State, the officials let them off. But that's a different show for a different day. We have highlights. There you go. Guys, thank you, in the truck. It had to feel pretty good for the team, Coach, to get that win, considering how Mississippi State just flat out scorched LSU a year ago.
Yeah, it's always good for the payback. I tell you, Boutte is really a good wide receiver.
You think?
And Johnson is really a good quarterback. I mean, he's done the job when they've given him time, and he's really taken what the defense have given him,
Talking about defenses and how the Tigers D played it, as we see in the shot right there. Derek Stingley Jr. was out. So from what I could glean, it was a pretty masterful game plan. Primarily rush 3, drop 8 into coverage, and you will slow down, if not stop, that air raid passing attack of Mississippi State.
And that's what they did. They really did a good job at doing that. As it relates to Stingley, right now with his injury, they're better not having to play him.
Oh, yeah.
And playing whoever else they're playing, gaining experience.
That's the key.
Because you're going to need them as you get more into the heart of your SEC schedule. So I think when you look at it, it's bad, but it's not all bad, because you need that extra person gaining that experience.
And the fact of the matter is, football in today's scenario, most times, it's a game of injuries. You're going to, throughout the course of the season, you're going to lose guys here, you're going to get guys back there, but many are of the opinion it's what you do when the good guys go down with gaining experience for the other guys that ultimately determines what your season ends up being.
Exactly. You sort of have to understand when somebody goes down what you have to do. So that person you're inserting into the lineup can enjoy a measure of success.
Yeah.
You may have to zone a little, cheat a little to his side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like they've started dropping 8 people. That was really good to help that defense out, because Mississippi State want to pass.
Oh, yeah. They don't call them air raid for nothing. When the defense forces turnovers and gets off the field, that's got to give the offense a heck of a lot of confidence to know the guys on the other side of the ball got our back.
Well, you hope it happens that way. It's not going to always happen. It's good to talk about, but in reality, they have their backs. It just doesn't happen enough when they need it. That's really what it's all about.
As you mentioned earlier, no rest for the weary. Auburn up next. Always another tough SEC matchup.
Yeah, Auburn coming off a tough weekend. They're lucky. They're lucky that they didn't lose.
Oh, yeah.
Or fortunate, whatever word you want to use.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see what the Mix, the quarterback name?
TJ Finley?
No, from Auburn. Nix is the quarterback. Finley just came in. No, Nix is the quarterback.
Well, and maybe you have more updated info. The last interview I saw, the coach was non-committal on who's going to be his starter this week. Is that just playing coaching games to not show your hand ahead of time?
Well, you forced LSU to prepare.
For both.
Yeah, they can't spend all that time
Focusing
one
on
quarterback.
one.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But that senior, you in going to a difficult place like that to play, and the senior is not a great quarterback,
Right.
but he's a decent quarterback.
Right.
Plus, he could hurt you with his legs.
Oh, yeah.
You see, so
Oh, yeah.
that's why I'm thinking he is the guy. And then if he can't generate an offense, then you bring in Finley.
In your coaching experience, your many years of being a skipper on the field, have you ever had, and I'm sure you have, a young man that would transfer from your program to another program, or
Vice
in
versa.
reverse, when they play their former team? What's the reception like for the former team?
It depends.
Or depends on the individual?
Yeah, it depends
and
on the
how they
individual.
left?
Yeah. You know, I don't think Finley left ugly.
Oh, no, he didn't.
He did. I think he left because he wanted to be in a better situation. Johnson was going to play.
Mm-hmm.
You see, they were thinking Brenham was going to start.
Right.
Then you had Johnson. And now they had the number one quarterback coming in. So he didn't want to be a part of that mixture.
Right.
And I think Coach O had no problem in him leaving.
Yeah.
Because he never said anything adversely against the kid.
Uh-huh.
So he just gave the kid his ticket.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I saw in his weekly press conference, Coach O was nothing but complimentary, saying he came to me like a man.
Right.
And talked about it. He said, as a matter of fact, the young man had tears in his eyes when he came and told me what his decision was. And Coach O went so far as to say he's from a great family, great community, and other than this Saturday, we wish him nothing but the best. And so many times you see that parting of the ways be ugly. It says a lot about both TJ and Coach O that they were able to do this on amicable terms.
I think this is the second time Coach O had to say good luck the rest of the season, except this weekend.
Right.
His son and
Yeah.
not TJ.
Yeah, Cody.
Finley.
Yeah, Cody
You
Orgeron.
caught it. You
Yeah.
know. So yeah, it's just interesting. I think Coach O is a really good coach when it comes to that. He's a loving guy. Mm-hmm. He cares about his players.
Oh, yeah.
And which most coaches do. And so, yeah, Finley is a talent. Mm-hmm. And so we have to wait and see. But I think Nix is the guy to start the game until he proves he can't generate any offense.
We talked a little bit about Max Johnson earlier on. He's looking more and more comfortable as the season goes along.
Well, I got to give the offensive coordinator some kudos. Mm-hmm. They're giving him a package that allows him to be successful.
Yeah,
They're not trying to go deep all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the key. Go short, pick the small, quick routes. Mm-hmm. Let him complete some passes. Then with Butte them, they can break it.
They can make it. Yeah, they can make a big
once you
play.
get them the ball,
Yep.
they can break away from the tacklers.
Uh-huh. Well, when we come back after today's first break of week number 4, we're going to shift gears from purple and gold, head across town, to blue and gold. Jaguar football up next when we continue today's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back for segment 2 of week 4 of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Coach, let's talk a little Jaguar football. 38-25. Jaguars open conference play victorious against the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley State. In a league like the SWAC, is it more important, less important, as important as any other conference that you win your conference opener?
As like any other conference, you got to win it. And they did, no matter who the opponent is. We know Valley hadn't won a lot, but you still got to beat them.
Yeah.
And go play the game and try to improve. That's really what they're trying to do. I see where now they have a quarterback that came in and did a really fantastic job.
Bubba McDaniel. Yeah.
The one thing you don't want to do is have a quarterback controversy, but you know what? I'm a former coach.
Right.
You play the guy who can help you win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really,
Yeah.
that's the way it is.
Of course, now you are also one that is more familiar than most with the mental aspect of today's young people. How fine a balancing act are we talking about here when you've got a young man that you know going to give you a better chance of winning, but this other young man, if I pull him and start the other guy, I don't know where this guy's head's going to go. How tough a balancing act are we talking about these days?
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you said I know.
Right.
It's just like that guy with the loud music. You don't know what they're thinking. You got me?
Yeah.
What would make him do that?
Yeah.
But I do know that, you know, if the guy who was a starter, if he's made of any kind of toughness, he'll want to be first. He want to support the team and the new quarterback,
right,
and stay ready in the event that he's needed. Because there's a strong possibility that something could happen and you need to stay mentally ready to come in and help the team win.
Yep. What's the old saying? You're always one snap of the ball away from being on the field.
That's right. It's always. And the thing I used to say to my players is stay close to the pack. Prepare yourself. Stay ready. Know what's going on. So if your opportunity is called, you're ready to go right in.
Yeah.
Baseball and football is completely different, but the mechanics are the same in terms of mental preparedness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, if you're a decent hitter, and maybe even more so if you're not, just because you didn't start that day doesn't mean you shouldn't be cognizant of the pitch count. You shouldn't be cognizant of, is his slider stronger than his fastball? Does he go more inside than outside? Because at any given moment, you might have to grab the batting helmet and go out there. But you'll have no clue if you haven't been engaged in the game and following along just because you didn't start.
Yeah, and so many people nowadays, because starting is all that matters.
Right.
They don't put themselves in a position to say, things can happen, and I've still got to be ready.
Yeah.
And you know what? Athletics is so much like family or being a responsible adult.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is not going to go right.
No. That's that dirty 4-letter word called life.
Oh, it's dirty?
Well, to some people, when you get benched, it's dirty then.
It's only dirty to them, yeah.
But now, in listening to you talk about that, isn't it almost more important if you don't start to be sure you stay engaged?
Yes,
because at any second, if you're not engaged, you're going to find yourself thrown into a situation, you're unprepared, and aside from making yourself look bad, you hurt the team.
That's right. Well, that's it, Clarence. And, if we had a magic wand that we could do that with so many people.
And I was just about to say, of course, that's easy for us to say.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's really easy to say, but people get hurt. Mm-hmm. When they get hurt, that feeling is messed up.
Yeah, yeah. And we all know about feelings.
Ooh, sing it, Clarence. Sing it.
That's what we've come to in our society. Guys in the truck, talk about great minds running in the same direction as they roll the highlights. It's a really, really awesome thing to have a guy that when the starter, and to his credit, the starter has been dealing with some nagging injuries.
Yeah.
But to have Bubba be able to step up and throw for 5 touchdowns, that's got to be a relief to the coaching staff and the team in general.
And he threw in the ball relatively nice and easy. Now, I think they've got to fix their defense, Clarence. I really think they need to do something. They have a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. And we know that they don't have a lot of depth.
Right.
So they've got to sort of play some scheme. You got me?
Right.
Probably show a little zone and then show man-to-man. And just do double coverage on the best receiver. I think those are the kind of things you got to try and show the offense. Try to confuse the young quarterbacks.
Watching the score on the ground for the second week in a row, I was particularly impressed with the balance. 235 yards passing, 223 yards rushing. That's about as balanced as you can get, Coach.
Oh, that's pretty balanced right there. I like that. And they're running the ball really good. As I mentioned, we've got to find a way to defensively do just a little better.
Yeah.
Because if you can start holding people under 24 points, that should be their goals. They'll win a lot more games.
Oh, yeah.
Because they can score.
Now, to their credit, it's been, at least in recent memory, the defense has been the bend but don't break.
Yes.
Kind of defense. It's good to get the win and do that, but you gotta wonder and worry to whatever degree at some point that can come back to bite you.
Well, that's old George Allen technique: bend but don't break.
Right.
Old George.
Right.
And but you're dealing with a group of young guys who don't know who George Allen is. They never heard of him. But so it's just something the coaches got to re-emphasize, because bending and don't break is not that bad, because what it does, it forces that team to eat a lot of the clock up.
Right.
Which is good.
Oh yeah. The best way to be sure that the other team does not score is make sure they don't have the ball.
That's right.
And there always are the outliers there when you start talking about a pick six or a block punt recovered for a touchdown on special teams, things of that nature. But conventional wisdom says it's a whole lot easier to beat a team if they don't have the ball anywhere near as many minutes as you had the ball.
You're right.
Fortunately for the Jaguars, they are off this week before heading up to Texas Southern, going back to the friendly confines of the Lone Star State of Texas. Would you rather have the off week this early in the season, later in the season, or you just take it when you get it?
Take it when you get it. And let's face it, Clarence, they've faced two tough opponents with Troy and McNeese, and they got injuries.
Right.
He needs to have a week off, so he might get a couple of players back.
Right.
With the week off, you got me?
Hopefully.
Which means it's 14 days of not playing. See, that's what a week off means. You take that week and then you got another week. So
Right.
14 days with the way young people can bounce back, maybe he gets somebody back.
Speaking of Texas Southern, here's a team that you are 9-1 against in the last 10 years. 9 wins, only 1 loss. How tough is it to get a team up for a game like this? And conventional wisdom says, in an ideal world, wouldn't be any problem at all. It's a conference game. You better not have problems getting up for it. What's been your experience, and how tough was it? Knowing we've beaten these guys, we beat the socks off them 9 out of 10 years in a row.
Well, I had that issue only when I didn't have a good team. When I had good teams, that was never an issue. They understood the job was to go out and play as well as they could.
Every single time.
Every single time you went out there. When you got a bad team, that's when you're going to have the problem you're talking about.
Right.
They start looking at what happened the years before. And that has nothing to do with the game you're about to play.
Right.
You have to go out there and outplay those guys. Because they're probably just as bad as you or just as good as you.
What was your experience? We as adults, you don't have to tell us. Our life experience has taught us. The minute you think, man, we beat y'all 9 times straight, that's the team that's going to come out and smoke you. Because mentally, you've been dragging at practice all week. You hadn't been running the routes as crisply.
Well, hold up. If the coaches let them do that, then the coach is the problem.
Yeah.
If they're dragging, you got to stop them the very first day.
Kids being kids and the way they are these days, what was your experience? More of them respond to what you tell them, or more of them didn't? Or about 50-50?
Well, like I said, when I had bad teams, they did in their mind. It wasn't like I made sure I did everything I could to put the meal on the plate so they could eat it.
Right.
Now, whether they digest it properly is up to them.
It's up to them.
But but I would never let them just go through the motion. I would make it clear, stop practice.
Right.
And explain to them why they couldn't do that. And that's what you get the attention of the whole team when you stop it. And I made that clear to my coaches. If I wasn't there, someone not doing what they're supposed to do with lack of effort, stop practice and make sure that we explain to them we can't have it.
And if it's a good team, the rest of the team will get on these individuals and let them know we're here to win, and this is not acceptable.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Good teams, you're not going to have that kind of problem.
Well, that's why his record is what his record is. When we come back, we've covered purple and gold, now blue and gold. Up next, black and gold. When we continue, week 4 of the Roger Cador Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are 2 busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient. They're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport.
Who says you need a vacation for a view like this? Or, I wish there was a place to get in shape. Try getting on the beaten path. Discover an ever-expanding network of trails and greenways. Some quintessential Southern beauty. Or romp through the woods in a magical land between the rivers. There's more to explore than you ever imagined. Beyond the swing sets. Breck, we are more than a playground.
Welcome back to week 4 of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Coach, let's talk a little NFL and our very own New Orleans Saints. 28-13 winners over the New England Patriots. It seems like with this team, at least at this point in the season, it's either feast or famine with this team.
Well, I just think we need to be patient. Give them a chance to get comfortable with each other. It shows some possibilities. So I just think that, they need a couple more games under that belt till they can learn each other.
I chuckle when I hear you say, be patient. And I always think about that old bumper sticker that was popular back in the 70s that said, Lord, please give me patience and give it to me right now.
That's what you want right now?
Want it right now. We're the instant gratification society these days.
Yeah, we are. And, they want it now because, see, the other thing is people paying a lot of money to support these teams. So you got to sort of understand their frustration and what they want and want it now. I understand.
And on top of that, there is such a thing as being a victim of your own success. As a mutual friend of ours is fond of saying, Buddy Sanjay says, once you've tasted filet mignon, smoked sausage just don't cut it.
Don't cut it.
Don't cut it.
I mean, it just ain't going to work. So I understand. You just got to be patient. Well, they ain't going to be patient, but,
Not street committed.
We just got to try and, the Saints are going to do well. They're going to be okay. There is no great team in the NFL this year from what I've seen thus far.
Yeah.
Everybody's around the same. So 4, 5, 6 loss teams are going to be more prevalent.
Oh, yeah.
And making the playoffs.
Looking at the New England game, anytime you are +3 in the turnover margin, when you don't commit any and you force the other team to commit 3, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. Your odds of winning are through the roof.
Always. You'd look for the turnover ratio to be in the plus side for you.
For you.
Yeah, And, I think one touchdown that Jamie threw when he was being tackled, even though it was a touchdown, Peyton doesn't want him throwing that.
No.
I mean, just lucky the kid, not the kid, the man caught the pass.
Right.
Number 1 or number 11. He caught it, but you're going to get that pass picked off.
Oh, yeah. And that's a great segue to the next question. It wasn't just that particular play. It was 2-3 times that I know I can remember right off the top of my head where he almost got burned because he was just trying to make something happen that just wasn't there.
Yeah.
That being said, how tough is it to coach that out of a young person or young man when they are a competitor the likes of what he is?
I think it's tough to coach it out of him because, remember, that's part of him. his DNA.
Right.
I mean, he's
a competitor.
And he's thrown that pass so many times. Even though he'd been picked off, he still had it completed a lot from college to the pros. I mean, so it's something that maybe the system that Sean Payton is putting in place will help alleviate some of those things.
If you were coaching it, what would you tell him about that?
I would tell him, try to be a little more patient with trying to force passes in there. Maybe throw it away.
Yeah,
you can always live
to fight another day.
Yeah, so I would be saying try to throw it away if he's not completely open.
When the defense scores points, that energizes the whole team, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean that's the way. Again, that's points. They don't have to score. The offense.
This game, if you go back as we continue watching the highlights, this game was won by the big uglies up front. Offensive, defensive side of the ball as well. When you have up front that sort of performance, you're a force to be reckoned with, aren't you?
Oh yeah, and you and I have talked about that, Clarence. You win games with offensive linemen, defensive linemen, because you control the ball.
Yeah.
You control things when you have those two pieces working. It makes it easy for everyone else.
Yeah. Now, on the downside, speaking of special teams, on the downside of this, I can't remember in recent memory the Saints' rushing attack being this anemic.
Say that one more time.
I can't remember in recent memory the rushing game being this lackluster
for the Saints. Well, you lost the guy they cut at the last minute, so they wouldn't pay the $3 million, the running back. I think,
and there are some other injuries up front.
Yeah, so it's just tough. You got Kamara, but that's it.
Yeah, One of the things that was most impressive to me was when the Patriots closed the gap on a good-looking drive to a one-score game, 21-13 in the fourth quarter. Very next possession, the Saints went on a 13-play, 75-yard touchdown drive. That was huge.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have to sort of stop the momentum.
Yeah.
It's called a momentum stopper.
How much air do you let out of the other team's balloon when you do that?
Well, you let some out, but it's not a lot because they still have plenty of time left. But it just let them know that, hey, we got to score again.
Yeah.
You force them to start thinking out of the box a little.
Put that pressure on.
Right. Rather than let me just go do my job.
Right.
You got me?
Right.
When you're doing your job, equates many times in you being productive at scoring.
Yeah.
But now when you start saying, I got to go score, that's a different kind of mindset.
Yeah. Bill Belichick right now, at the start of this season, is 0-2 at home for the first time in 21 years. Now, that being said, let's be realistic. It's way too soon to start writing this guy off, isn't it?
They say if you live long enough, you'll see everything.
You'll see it all.
No, live forever, you'll see everything.
If you just live long enough, you'll see it all. 0-2, first time in 21 years. And as you might imagine, speaking of being a victim of your own success, the natives are getting restless up in Foxborough.
I don't see how they could get restless. That team was never going to win.
No.
I mean, he's another 4 or 5 years away maybe, or 3 years away from winning because he's got to build through the draft and then make good trades and sign free agency.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah. It's not a 1 year wonder or 2 year wonder in many cases.
Is that how close to the very top of the Roger Cador list of things I don't miss from coaching. The fact that we as fans have become so enamored with winning that the minute you have one little stretch, I don't care. Yeah, you got how many SWAC titles? Yeah, you got how many playoff wins? Yeah, you put how many kids in the pros? Yeah, you put out how many absolutely wonderful, productive citizens? But this year, doggone it, we 0-2 at home. Is that at the top of the list of things that you do not miss about coaching?
More the parents than anything. I'm the fans.
Wow, really?
Let me tell you, the fans never was a big issue for me because I understood them better.
You understand fans are short for fanatics.
Yeah.
So consider the source.
But it's the parents when you're trying to help their kids.
Right.
And they come in with the foolishness that they bring to the table.
Yeah.
That is the one thing. You know, it made it to the last 4 or 5 years. I could not hold a meeting one-on-one with a player without having an assistant coach in there. That's how bad the parents were, because they're looking for you to slip up.
Right. Say the wrong thing the wrong way at the wrong time.
So now you got to have a meeting with a kid. You got to bring in a doing coach.
Right.
So, you know.
So is that to have a witness as far as what actually transpired?
There you go. Wow. That's the point I'm making. The fans, no problem. The parents, big problem. But not all the parents, not all of them, but some of them.
But conventional wisdom says, I trust my kid's athletic future to you.
I thought so.
Why would I not trust your decisions?
I can't understand.
You got the hardware on the wall. You've got the pedigree. You got the resume. I trusted my kid's future with you. Why would I not trust your decisions?
That damn travel ball. Excuse me, I use that word. I'm sorry, Al. That damn travel ball is the reason.
Wow.
Because they pay a exuberant amount of money and they get to play, whether they deserve it or not.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Wow.
That's where it all comes from. And parents don't know better. Those guys are sucking them out of their money.
Right.
And they'll say, oh, yeah, your son is good enough to go do this and this. So they keep that money coming.
Right.
And then they come to college. That ain't so.
Wow.
So what has made it bad is the travel ball.
Yeah. Wow.
And not all travel ball, but the majority of the one who are sucking them for the money.
Right.
They're a competitive travel ball team. But there's some, they just play Little Joe and Bobby Joe.
And little Susie.
And little Susie and little
Bobby
Alan.
Joe who thinks he's Susie. That's a whole different show for a different day, y'all. When we come back, we will put that big old pretty bow on week 4 of the Roger Cador Show. Keep it where you got it, right here on the Pelican.
And Alan Joe.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946. Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to week 4 of the Roger Cador Show. You know, we could not do what we do every week without the support of some absolutely wonderful sponsors. The latest of which is Calme's Power Sports. And, you know, Coach, it says a lot about a business when they are a part of the community. You had one of the Calme's sons to be recruited by Southern.
Right.
And it says a lot when a business is invested not just professionally, but personally in the community that they live in.
Right, and they've been in there since the Daddy Butch had the dealership, and for many, many years have been a viable part of the community. So they hadn't gone away. The kids have taken it over with their mother. I went by, and the mother is still in there working. I mean, she still comes to work, which is a wonderful thing to see, and it gives her something to do. You know.
So, guys, girls, I don't know what your leisure activities are like, but if you like getting in the outdoors and you're looking for motorcycle, scooter, ATV, UTV, watercraft, you see in South Louisiana, you know how we love our jet skis and the like, even snowmobiles. And you never know, before you laugh, you never know. If you're in the market for any of the above, and more important, you want to deal with someone that has South Louisiana values and understands how to treat South Louisiana folks, Calme's is the only name that you need to know. We are so proud to have them on board as the newest sponsor of the Roger Cador Show. Coach, you and I were talking off air before the show started. This was a crazy, crazy sports weekend. Number one thing that I saw, and I had to go back and double check to be sure that I was seeing what I thought I was seeing. Alabama State, Southwestern Athletic Conference, same conference as Southern, Grambling, Jackson State, Prairie View, Texas Southern, UAPB, et cetera, et cetera. In volleyball, this past weekend, upset Auburn University, an SEC school. Why don't we support volleyball more in our community, Coach?
Well, I really don't know, Clarence. Now you ask it.
Wait, now you know everything else.
Well, it's an exciting sport.
It is.
I go and I tell you, those young ladies and young men, but we just played, the women played in the SWAC, and they are energetic, they work hard, and I mean, you have to be a pretty good athlete.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, that ball is hard, and they have to hit their fingers. Ooh. There you go.
Marty gonna get you.
Yeah.
I really would love to see more support for our young ladies, particularly in the African American community, because there's so many things out there for our young people to get involved that are not positive things, and you never know. Just taking a young lady to a game might be the discovery of the next, I don't know, Tiger Woods of women's volleyball. But unless we expose them to these things, they never had the opportunity to get interested or try it.
And that's why you got to have good community centers in your neighborhood where kids, a safe haven, they could go to. And then they could learn some of those things. You have qualified people who are teaching them. I think you can't get around it by having community centers
and community involvement,
which allow people, the kids, to get involved.
I saw. Speaking of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, are we witnessing the emergence of a new football power in the West? Prairie View this past weekend beat Grambling State for the 4th year in a row. I mean, that's go back past that 4-year span, and if you look at the rundown, okay, let's see who's playing in the SWAC this week. Grambling, Prairie View. You kind of automatically give Grambling the nod on who you think is going to win that one. This is 4 in a row now that Prairie View has taken the measure of Grambling.
Hey, listen, Coach Dulick, Eric Dooley is the head coach at Prairie View.
Yep.
I got to know him very well when he coached at Southern, and he was the offensive coordinator at Grambling.
That's right.
For many years before he went to Prairie View.
Right.
So he knows a lot about Grambling. And he's been the one to beat them 4 years in a row.
Yeah. Now, you know, I always look back to, you guys and girls remember full well, when Prairie View was, if you looked up in the Webster's dictionary, the word futility, there was a picture of the Prairie View football team. Marino Chasm used to tell the joke that there was a foster kid that had been abused, and his foster parents just beat the kid, beat the kid, beat the kid. So finally, this young person petitioned the courts for a change of guardians. And the judge had this young man standing in front of the bench, and he said, well, young man, I see you want new parents. Who would you like to be your parents? And he said, well, I'd like Prairie View to be my parents. And the judge said, well, wait, maybe you didn't understand the question. Who would you like your new parents to be? He said, yes, sir, Judge, I understood. I'd like Prairie View to be my new parents. So finally the judge says, well, why would you want Prairie View to be your parents? And he looked at the judge and says, because they don't beat anybody. We all know full well the history of futility in football at Prairie View. But what I did not know until years after the streak was broken, Prairie View took all of their money out of scholarships for football and put it into academics.
Yes.
Because they wanted to send the message that we're not athletic students, we are student athletes. And we want the smart kids coming to Prairie View. And then years later, then they put the money, after upgrading the intelligence level of their athletes, they put the money back into scholarships because the word was out now. Okay, Prairie View wants smart kids. They want student/athletes. And now you can see it's paying results, it's paying dividends.
Yeah, but if we went back to the 40s and 50s and 60s,
they were the
Prairie View was the number one school,
yes, sir.
Along with Grambling, of course. But they really had a lot. But I want to go back to Prairie View is the school in the SWAC that everybody would like to coach at, because they got it all going on there. They really got it going on. Texas A&M system has put the money, and they've got, they have done such a wonderful job, and their academics are so good. You know,
why wouldn't more schools try to emulate that model?
Because they can't. You see, it was no political hire. The president at Prairie View,
right?
In Louisiana, I can only speak. Those presidents are political hire, and it's tough to do a good job.
Everything in Louisiana is political.
It's tough.
Everything's political.
It's so tough. It's difficult to take a stance and say, I'm going to do this for the betterment of the kids. It's difficult to do it.
On another note, I saw where 8, Robert Mathis headlining the list of HBCU products that are nominated for next year's class of the NFL Hall of Fame. You know, nothing for me, I guess because of my background, is so easily identifiable to show you how time passes. Meaning, One of the guys nominated for the next class of the NFL Hall of Fame is Albert Lewis, played at Grambling State. I covered this guy when I was hosting the Eddie Robinson show. He was starting defensive back for Grambling State. And I distinctly remember this young man, he was a kid back then, because his nickname was Snow White. Played his high school ball at Mansfield High School in North Louisiana. So one day I asked a young lady I was dating at the time who was from Mansfield, why did they call him Snow White? He said, well, this guy could play in a driving rainstorm on a natural grass field. At the end of the game, he'd have 2 interceptions, 2 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries. And in all this rain and all that mud on the field, at the end of the game, his uniform was Snow White. So that became his nickname. And of course, had an outstanding career with the Kansas City Chiefs. If you go back to that era of HBCU football, I would venture a guess Grambling State was the original DBU.
Yes.
You're talking Everson Walls, Benny Thompson, Snow White, Albert Lewis. They churned them out like 40 going north up in Grambling.
And they had Herb Adderley, Willie Brown,
Tank Younger.
Well, no, DB.
Oh no, DBs.
They had a little guy 5'8" from McKinley.
Yeah.
With Oakland. Oh man!
Think about it after we sign off.
Yeah.
But those days are gone. Now.
Yeah, they go. They go
along with integration and everything else.
I mean, we might as well move forward from there. Yeah. If we move forward, things could be better. I mean, and I try to tell people, you got to move forward.
Yeah, and that was the ultimate goal, was it not, for us to become full-fledged Americans?
Yeah.
Not black people.
Yeah.
Not black Americans, but full-bore Americans.
Well, we were thinking, because they denied us so many things, but we were thinking they were trying to. That was an opportunity, but it's working out. Yeah. The next generation of young African Americans are going to benefit a lot more from this.
Well, I can only hope that you're right. We just need to be sure, in no uncertain terms, that before they get to that point, that we have them firmly rooted and grounded, and the rest will take care of itself. That's going to do it for week 4 of the 2021 fall season of the Roger Cador Show. On behalf of Alan, Jonathan, Katie, everybody out in the truck, floor producer extraordinaire, Mighty, I'm Clarence Buggs, hoping we see you next week when we continue with yet another edition of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Till then, take care. God bless.